I can't get this to unlatch. It's twist lock.
Yep.
And I cannot get it to turn.
It's all fused and swollen.
So yesterday we had a very, very bad hot smell.
We couldn't find it. We
thought it was around the Victron, which is essentially on the other side of the wall from this. I was running the progressive dynamics. There was no errors on this. I kept kind of watching for errors.
Yep.
I probably should have done a better job of investigating this when I smelled something off, because this is clearly melted. It's twist lock. I'm not sure what's up. It's about 4:30 in the morning and we've got a roll. So I'm hoping we can get out of the bugs right now and solve this later.
Yikes.
All your visual checks now. Will I get straightened out?
I believe we're clear for takeoff. All right, so this melted plug thing is going to be interesting. We, I think, have the material to replace it and use our new cord. Something I hadn't got to lately. The trouble is it's going to be 100 degrees when we arrive later. We'll cross the border into Texas. And so I'm a little bit not excited about trying to be under the gun to replace that plug.
Go ahead, bye.
Copy, will do. So right now it's about 6:15 in the morning. We've got 200 miles to go, and then when we get there, we're gonna have to do this real quick. I'm not exactly sure how early we'll be able to check in, but I guess we'll figure it all out when we get there. So we left the campground this morning frantically because the mosquitoes were awful. Shauna was getting bit bad. I managed to kind of twist and yank and fight the old cord off, knowing that we actually have this one, which we were going to replace. The problem is now we're kind of racing the heat. It's supposed to be near 100 degrees later. So we're hoping to get to the campground before the heat really builds up and get this cord replaced and jacked so that we can actually run the AC later. What you doing?
Making sure Rainbow's windshield is spiffy as he deserves to be.
Cleaning that side in case I pick up a passenger?
Yeah. So that's 9 and change.
9 and change right now. You did 100
miles per gallon, 166.
166, and I just put in 17 and a half.
So also we've been driving a lot faster, like these flat windless,
smoother and not
roads,
windy.
we've been able to go 65. So I'm surprised he's maintaining his gas mileage. All right, this is super tight on this Frito-Lay truck. Can you please watch my 6?
Copy that. I got this side if you can watch the other side.
All right.
Clear on this side.
Okie dokie, I'm ready for you.
Cooler out here. What's the air temperature?
88 degrees.
88 degrees. Oh, it's so much cooler out here. Whew. Drank another bottle of water. Can you refill?
Yes.
So we got extremely lucky today. Our plan is to drive from dark to like 10 a.m. I don't know what time it is. I've lost track. Maybe it's 10:30.
It is 10:30.
10:30. Okay. So we have arrived at the campground destination that we need for the day, and they let us on our site at, well, 10. If we didn't stop at the dump station, 10:30. So that's great news because we've got a couple things to fix. Definitely the plug is first on the list. So honestly, none of the problems are Dreamboat today. So that's new. That's something new.
Don't you speak poorly of my beloved Dreamboat.
Well, we still gotta fire him up to drive him to the site. So.
Hey. He's been working most excellent now that the brake is repaired.
Yeah, show everybody the shady spot. There's butterflies checking him out right now.
Cooper Lake State Park.
Yes.
Texas.
We stayed here once before. The lake level was way down. It was like a 100-yard walk out down a muddy beach. It's looking pretty good right now.
All right, let's fix our power problem. And maybe we could squeeze in time for a swim. They have a swimming area.
Oh.
Right?
It's gonna be 100 degrees later, so.
All right, let's see if we can get the work done first and then we can go play.
All right. All right, I'm checking across these prongs to see if any power seems to be showing up. Getting 0.0 volts. The Victron inside is shut off, so the only thing that this trailer has right now in it for power is batteries, and the Victron is off, so it is not making shore power out of battery power. So we shouldn't have any risk of shock here, so I'm gonna start taking this apart.
In the daylight, you can clearly see the char.
Yep.
And it was screwed all the way on, so.
It was. This plastic here that kind of welded to the inside plastic was what I had to break to get it to actually release. I'm just gonna cut the sealant here.
Oh, that's melted.
Yep. Smells melted too. I'll turn it.
What do you think happened?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I can tell if that's loose or not.
Well, we'll take it apart and examine it. Opening the new Furrion?
Yep. So there's a couple things that are interesting here. One is I've got like a broken edge in the plastic here where it looks like this was replaced before, and the kind of the housing for the plug is still there, and I've got to figure out what I'm looking at.
All right, well, let's start disassembling.
And kind of manipulating this around, the wire up here has become disconnected. So if that loose wire is in fact the reason why we've got a hot situation, that could be the reason why this failed.
It's a good way to burn down your Airstream.
Yep, it is.
I mean, that's not something that we check.
Yep, that is just a loose wire right there. The wire that appears to have gotten hottest is actually this one towards the back, but this one here came right out, so not sure what's going on. I loosened the ground and it came off.
The cup part looks chopped out, you mean?
This cup is broken, chopped, something bad has happened here. There's a bunch of, like, there's supposed to be a crimp on the wires to hold them down. Well, I can show you on the back of this one. This is supposed to crimp the wires coming out the back, and that's broken on this one.
Can you crush it now and get it out?
There's a big crack in the top. I gotta knock it down enough to get on that crack. This black wire is actually your white wire, black wire, and the ground. I'm gonna see how much length I have. I'd like to pull some fresh wire out of this so I don't have to use the overheated and burned section. Good news is it looks like we've got plenty of slack to make this connection again on completely fresh wire. Wow. Cooked.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll strip that back to have 3 fresh wires.
Not great.
Not good.
You stuff on the new cup, and the new cup has screws on the back that are supposed to hold that wire in place.
Yep.
Do those tabs match the screw holes? Is that what they're designed to do?
I don't know.
Would you care to look at the instructions and find out?
Probably
if those
not.
tabs...
No, I was just gonna
wing it?
line everything up and go on color. I should have a green, a white, and a black, and when things aren't burned, there should be a good white one. Trying to very carefully peel back the old sealant. Now, trying to not make the filiform corrosion any worse by scarring the clear coat is kind of the goal here. I recognize that this area of the trailer is kind of a little bit beat up, and the filiform gets worse anywhere you've damaged the clear coat. Think it'll clean up?
Somewhat. Not much will help the filiform look.
I'm glad the holes line up, so at least the area where the filiform's radiating from the screw holes is covered.
Yeah.
Just using the old wire as a depth gauge here. It looks like I need to strip, say, just under 3/4 of an inch, because that's what'll go in here and clamp down. I would have liked to have upgraded to a smart plug, but we do have this in our spare parts, so we can make the change right now and be ready to go with AC as it starts to get even hotter today. This kit comes with a foam gasket, and then this cup has a wire retainer on the back that should clamp this to keep the wire from pulling back. And then I've got my wires manipulated to go into the 3 holes fairly easily. So I'm going to do that now, and then I may have to go inside to kind of tease the wire to where I want it to get it back against the trailer and tight.
And that on the inside is under the bathroom sink sort of zone?
It is. And it's sort of good in that way because somebody's already chopped the wall, I think, to mess with this. So that doesn't show at all because it's underneath the bathroom sink. So if I need to get in there for more work, I can get in there. I think everything's in deep enough. One of the things that's cool about this is it's actually clear on the other side. So check it out from that angle. You can see the ends of the wire. Maybe if I wiggle it, the wire ends are actually visible.
I don't know if it shows on camera, but you can see it.
Yeah.
In the real world.
Because this is clear, I can actually see that my ground wire is all the way buried up to the end. So I'm gonna hold that in place and tighten it. The white wire is getting tightened now. First one of these I've ever watched where you could see through the plug to watch the wire tighten.
Right there at the tip of my finger, you can see where the wire is. So you know the connection is really made.
All right, and I'm just tightening the crimp down to hold the cable in place.
So does that mean you'll need to still do it underneath the sink?
I don't know. So it's really about, this cable has to make an immediate 90 down to fit in here at all. So like we can kind of try to do this and then see if it goes back. That works. That's all right side up. Okay, is it time for sealant?
I don't think so. What I think you need to do is to secure it into place, and we need to test it before we go gluing anything.
Okay.
Sealing it.
All right. These screws may not be big enough. So
The ones that came with it?
it's ones that came with it, yeah. I might have...
I see it pulling.
So this screw hole is good, this one is not. This screw hole is too big for that to tighten. I may have stainless screws like this somewhere else. Maybe they're a size bigger.
Okay, well let's check the Wheeler backstock in a little bit. Let's see if this works.
All right, first thing I'm gonna do is turn the Victron on and see if anything bad happens.
Okay, I heard it.
All right, quick. Okay, so it's on. All right.
Tester.
Yep. There's a tiny amount of voltage showing now that we didn't have before. All right, I'm gonna get the surge protector and the new cord. Hang this on the post. I don't think the LED display shows very well on the camera here, but what I'm looking at is 119 volts available, 0 amps being used, 60 hertz, 0 errors. There's a little error answer key down here if you do see an error.
This is our new one.
This is our new one, replaced under warranty because our old one had water in it.
And that's a new cord that we're just rolling around with.
Yep. Here, hold this. I don't want to be the first one to set it on the ground. So clean and shiny.
So the difference, one of the differences between this cord and the other one is it drops 90 degrees straight down out of the trailer, which I like. I just heard the Victron click. So it knows there's power. So now we're in bulk charge and we have it set to 25 amps, which is where we had it yesterday.
Yeah, we like to run things not quite at their limit. I mean, it's 30 amps, but the Victron will pull like a full 30 amps for an extended period of time if you let it. So we usually cut it down to 25 just so it's not max at all times. I'm pretty sure our loose wire on the back of this is what was responsible for this. Yesterday it was 90 degrees, we were running the AC and, you know, freshly connected after traveling, so the batteries were charging up too. And that's probably the biggest challenge this has had in a number of days in terms of how much, you know, amperage we were drawing through here. And this just may be when it broke just by chance.
Oh, but that's inside the wall. That's not something we can check. We don't typically leave ourselves plugged in.
Well,
so we charge up and then we're off boondocking to another location.
Yep. A lot of times we charge at 15 amps because we're just not at a 30 amp site. We can cut the Victron back so it doesn't draw. The thing is, like, that's less of a challenge for a connection that may be loose or marginally loose. The fact that two of these wires just came out, just pulled straight out when I loosened, like actually loosened one, and then the other two just came off. So my thought is something was either loosening up slowly over time, or this is just the first time it's got hot enough to be a problem. A lot of times we're unplugged more than we're plugged in. The only reason we're fully plugged in today is it is supposed to be literally over 100 degrees, and so we wanted the AC. Same with yesterday, it was in the 90s. I'd love to give people some recommendations for making sure this doesn't happen to you, but the connection that was coming loose is literally between the two skins of the Airstream. It's in the wall. It's not something you can just see.
Visually inspect.
Yeah, I will say, you know, making sure your connection to the body is tight, to the pedestal is tight. You always want to look for signs of heat every time you disconnect and connect, particularly when you're running things at really, you know, heavy amperage AC all the time and whatnot. But for me, this is pretty scary because this all happened in the wall and it wasn't anything we can see. It's not something we can check up on. It was a loose connection coming loose. Now, I will say that we bought this trailer used, and when I look at this was already broken. I had to do all this kind of cracking to get this piece out because the sealant was still stuck in the wall. But it was broken here, and
well, the front edge had been cut.
Yeah, whatever this cup shape is was not in any way attached to the socket that was there. I believe this repair was made before, and it does look like they cut some corners, so it's possible they didn't get things quite as tight as they should have been, and maybe it's just been slowly loosening up over however long it's been since the repair was made.
I mean, we have the Furrion and a new cord that we just sort of had as a spare part just in case, because it is an older trailer. And I think we're lucky because it would have been awful hot tonight at 102.
Yeah,
if we hadn't.
Possible you could swing into a camping store, buy these parts, and make the change today. But if you're not comfortable doing this yourself and you got to go to a trailer repair place, who knows how long it might take.
I say we pick up this mess. Let's turn on the air conditioning and test the loads.
Yep.
And then when we're done testing, I say we go for a swim.
Yeah, it's a good day for that. It's
very good.